Hello, YouTube, Infinite Magicraid community. How's everyone doing? As you can see on the screen here, we have Heng E 3. So I hope you have a good idea what this video is about if you didn't notice it in the title already. Um, we're going to do a little bit of testing on Heng E today and give you my initial thoughts on her viability in PvP and uh, PvE as well. I'll comment on PvE a little bit, even though for the most part I'll say, with these limited heroes, we care more about their, PvP potentials a bit. Straight up, I'll just say that um, she will maybe help in content where the boss has a mechanism to focus on a particular hero. Overall, her damage output is you know, support in the most in general because she supports one hero at a time. There's a lot of ramp up to it. You have a lot of better options in PvE. Let's just put it that way. I'll just get that out of the way. Okay. So if you plan to get her and expect, hey, I'm now gonna clear, stage 36 to 40, wrong hero, not the right one. I did a video earlier today on, which heroes might be more helpful, impactful to your PvE, and those limited heroes. If you don't have your Jack E3 or E2 or even E1, or you don't have your Santa E3, those are going to be more impactful for your PvE adventures and your dungeons and whatnot than this particular hero. Having said that, Henge probably will be staple for whoever wants to clear stage 30 on the Abyss, or if you're still struggling a little bit over there. And you just want, the completionist award or something. Okay, so we rambled on enough. You're not here to just stare at the screen. Let me share with you some of my research and findings so far. So off the bat, let's enjoy a short clip of, the de facto kind of the strongest, you know, well-balanced team out there so far versus the challenger, the tankiest team IMR has to offer. And by the way, as we battle this out, we can take a look at the stats. Um, in the in the in the top corner, okay, in the opponent, we have given them very OP stats. Uh, edit attributes here on the enemy team here. 27 speed on the Ben, nearly 100% effective hit. It was 100, but then there were some Lydia, debuff. Um, Ben started with 800k HP, 2k speed. The Donald and Lydia both were given 100 crit rate with 100% effective hit, or a little bit less than 100% effective hit, I guess. With 100% crit, 300% crit damage, 50k attack. I think many of you would dream to have stats like this. So, I'm giving the enemy advantage here. Higher HP. On my side, I've actually given my own Nordak stats, my own Santa stats, and own Panda stats. So you can see they're a little bit lower, than the enemy. That's not going to matter. Okay, Henga, I put her, this is very realistic and obtainable with two tough sets with some subs in crit and crit damage. Um, the effective res is actually coming from Santa and the Panda there. So anyways, as we continue on, we'll see what happens. So one thing we always fear about the Ben Austin team is that Ben Austin is able to single target and really nuke down one of your hero at a time. And what we can see is drastic amount of that damage is getting transferred over to Heng E. And what happens is Heng E takes 50% of the damage taken, and the other 50% actually gets translated into the stored energy that Heng E has. So you could literally be tanking forever from allies that has this fictitious bunny icon here. So this is a little bunny icon, and this is coming from her skill 2. Now you can see that it seems like we're struggling. We're barely hanging on to our lives, but what you will gradually see is the entire team will get covered in fictitious bunny, and they just won't die. And when Heng E really has that moment where she is fully charged, okay, your entire team is using the bunny, she's going to be counterattacking like a ridiculous amount of time. So, for example, things like Panda, you hit how many targets? One, two, three with bunny. She's gonna destroy everything. I'm not sure what happened there. Was that a bug? I think that was a bug. Why did the entire team came back to life for a sec there? Right? So she is doing a ridiculous amount of protection, and she protects multiple targets. I think up to three. Or is it because of the turn meter? But she's gonna counterattack a total of three times when you get hit by AoE now because of the three little different bunny icons she's protecting. Look at that. And the second part of those damage is ignoring defense using the full storage component of it. Um, so the damage really adds up. When it's finally her turn, she has a pretty big nuke. She's going to strip everything, nuke twice. Okay, and she has that ability to strip away target's buff when she's counterattacking a lot. So you can see like the enemy is really losing a lot of buff, and then she's going to counterattack and get rid of all that. So the ultimate turtle team, right? And remember, we had lower stats. Now, is this possible if you have, I think this is fully viable with Lydia E2 as well, because Lydia E2 already provides the damage reduction. So for all those of you that don't have Lydia E3 and feels like, my Lydia E2 is not, doing enough damage, well, Heng E3 is going to be able to dish out all the damage your team needs. We're almost done watching this. So I think this is probably a very good showcase of a couple capabilities. One is the sustained damage that she's able to do, the ability to strip enemies buffs from her first skill and from her ultimate, um, as well as the ability to protect your allies, keeping them alive from Ben Austin. Just look at that damage comparison, right? The ridiculous amount of damage she output there. We don't need Lydia to do any damage here. We don't need Nordak to do any damage. She's going to convert all of the damage your team's taken and hit it back at the enemy. Okay. Now, having said that, okay, before we take a look at the skills, we want to make sure that, does this mean we're going to be overrun by Heng E's in Classic Arena? Maybe. But does this mean, there's no answer to them? Um, I know we're going to have to wait until the real stats come out, because again, we do know that you don't have the 20, sorry, the damage reduction, the 40% PvP damage reduction in the trials. But this might be a very likely outcome where the one hero that's getting protected survives and everybody else dies. Having said that, if this happened to be Nita could potentially, wipe out your offensive team. Like I have a very strong anti-Lydia cleave comp, right? Like not a lot of people have their Nita built at this level. We're gonna have to wait and see. Henle could potentially create some impenetrable defenses at this point. I'm not gonna comment. I think, if you're a complete, huge Kraken out there with, all your additional bonuses from the car incarnated sanctuary. Yeah, I do believe with Heng E you could have a very difficult to break through defense, and you would need like a matching Kraken level offensive team to be able to burst through. Because the thing here is, if you're not going to be able to finish this team on turn, one or two of your combo, and take down a key enemy unit. And single target nuking is definitely not going to be working against her because she's just going to be protecting that. Especially with the Santa Apple reviving and then immediately triggering this protection at exclusive 2. She's going to be able to do a lot. So let's explain the mechanics. I know a lot of people like to go through the pain of reading every single skill for their viewers. That's not me, sorry. But I will do it near the end of the video, which is about now. I think from the demo and the showcase, we have seen her strength and her weakness. She's not going to be able to help you deal with burst damage to your entire team. She's not going to cover that. It's not like, Lydia, reducing the entire enemy team's damage. It's not like, Santa giving everyone extra life or Nordak shields and extra HP. The way she excel is by protecting the one target the enemy is trying to focus down. So the perfect counter to Nordak, sorry, to Ben Austin is the first plus point. The second plus point is that um, she can protect multiple enemies and transfer all their damage to her over time. And by doing so, all the protected allies allow her to trigger more additional counterattacks. And these counterattacks adds up and they strip, they put a buff block, and effectively countering back to the key damage dealers. So almost like Brynhild in a way. And finally, her nuke capabilities are quite significant um, once her energy is fully charged, because that's where the damage is coming from, and she's going to hit really hard. Um, Over a span of 6 turns, she's going to convert her damage reduction to her max HP. Now, this damage she's taking, I'm not 100% sure whether or not it stacks with the protection here, but here, 50% of the damage is getting transferred to her, and 50% goes to the energy storing. Okay, and which will be, and the stored energy will be used up for 2 turns, right? And um, now when casting the skill to ally with first defense. So if you are casting this to an ally that's already with fish, you can also put a block debuff and a layer of block removal for them. And you can also cast it yourself to store HP. So there's some additional benefits to this kit. So for example, I'm casting it myself, I'm going to get additional HP, right? Um, let's just showcase and explain some of the mechanics because I know some of you do appreciate that in the video as well. I don't know. Let's just put there. Let's do that. So let's explain a couple of things. So you can if Nordak ever falls below 50% HP, exclusive to will trigger and automatically cast this on him, which will give the Resolute 2, right? Now if it doesn't have Resolute, I think at E1 it always give Resolute now. So let's talk about the exclusives. Okay, so exclusive 0, we're gonna get just the fictitious. It's not gonna get the Resolute, I don't think. But if they already have it, you're gonna be able to give the block buff and block removal. Okay, and there is no cooldown, so you can literally cast this on your entire ally. So let's look at our lineup. Let's see if we have a total of. Can we actually cast this on everybody? Um, Shoot, so we're going to cast it one time. Okay, we're going to cast this on 1. Now we got it on 2 targets. I think by the time we get to the last one, it might fall off. So we're going to have to, I think, what does it do? Extends all allies by 1 turn, but I think it's extending it doesn't help because this one's probably going to fall off by next time. Ben Austin moves, I believe. Ben Austin moves. Okay, so we can have a total of, okay, I think you have a total of 3 at most because Ben didn't even get a chance to move, right? So it disappeared before it even moved. But you see when the AoE happened there, right? That's when, okay, let's just watch it because I think the moment you cast it, that one's going to disappear before it. Okay, so we can have a maximum of 3 because just because of the number of turns. So you lose it on that turn. So basically, if your Heng E is really fast, right, you could probably cast it on everybody then. Let's just check some of these mechanics first. Oh, by the way, so that's the showing, if she basically, if she casts it on one that has the little bunny icon, you get the additional benefits there. Just gonna have her, so you see you counterattack based on the number of bunny icons that you can give. So that's one. Wait, did I really give her 40,000 speed? Yeah, I did. Just want to make sure you can actually give it to. Okay, so you see, you can have at most 3 targets protected. Let me check if that's actually say that. Okay, so if you actually look at it, so nowhere does it actually say you can protect at most 3 allies. At least I'm not reading it, right? But here's a mechanic that you need to be careful about. You can at most protect 3 allies. You can see, right? It's not the number of turns. It says for 3 turns, but it's actually you can only protect for 3 allies. Maybe that's what the 3 stands for. Okay, so that's the second skill. At exclusive 1, okay, is when you start able to give those resolutes. Okay, now what's strange is I thought it was supposed to just give resolute to a front, but there was some language in here in the exclusive, so let's read that. Um, it says, it will give resolute to while casting. If the target already has resolute, give all allies resolute to instead. Okay, so that's interesting. So you could technically do it twice. Yeah, let's just give her some extra speed there so we can have more turns. So we give resolute. Now at this point, if I give resolute again, the entire team gets resolute. So that's all that explains exclusive. The exclusive 1 mechanic there, line up. Okay, so exclusive 2 mechanic, this is where someone, gets hit below a certain amount. Um, she is going to be able to put the skill 2 on them. Okay. What else? So I think part of her kit on her passive. So this is the damage reduction that gets converged over a period of 6 turns, right? So little by little, she gets tankier and she's going to have more capacity to store damage. And this is where she also gains energy for lost HP, and part of her max HP gets transferred into. So it's going to help charging up a lot faster. Very important to help survive. And this also reduces firewall. So that means every other turn, you could be triggering that additional casting on your allies. Okay, so it's a very good skill. It's almost like you can think of it as the more broken version. You know how we have Whim early on? Whim can basically every 2 turns protect ally with, per certain percentage of his heal. This is like the super Whim. This is you know, like Whim, but transferring 100% of the damage, protecting 100% of the damage. Only 50% of the damage goes back to her, and she has a ton of HP to help tank that damage. Okay, so if you appreciate Whim early game, this is like the upgraded version of Whim plus so much additional things. Finally, her damage skill. Let's try to understand that a little bit. So, um, first of all, it's 2 parts, so we're gonna watch it slowly. Okay, the first hit is going to remove. It's gonna do 2 stages, right? First, it's gonna do damage. Second time, there is some extra damage and from that. So 2 hits of 10% of her max HP. So 10% of her max hit for first and second hit. Third hit is going to be based on the stored energy and is going to completely ignore defense. So that's where the big nuke comes from, and she's going to be able to ignore defense on that. Okay. So 2 parts, right? 10%, 2 hits, right? The first one was stripped. The second one will do that. Now then she gives this icon to your entire team. Increased crit damage. This crit damage increased amount is based on her initial um, effective res. Okay, so hopefully that, and then when you give her her exclusive 3. So how impactful is her exclusive 3? So when we talk about her exclusive 3 now, okay, is extend the data destruction to 4 turns. Okay, so data destruction. So this is originally we'll only get for 2 turns. Okay, you get, so now everybody gets 4 turn damage reduction. So this is a lot of crit damage boost for our entire team and boosted for a good number of turns, 4 turns. And if she's casting it at the beginning of her turn, well, she already has it. So that means now she's casting it a second time, right? So she has this up, she casts it a second time. Now she's going to do additional 22% of the bunny stored damage to the enemy with the lowest HP. So the lowest enemy HP hero now it's going to take the big AoE as well as another 22% damage. So let's do the math here. So what that really means, so first of all, she's going to be doing 44% damage from extra, another 22%. So basically, the second phase gets another 50% more to the lowest HP. That usually does the trick to kill something. So, if we don't have E3, using her as a single DPS might take a little bit longer. Still possible, but once she's fully stored, that's going to be like 66% of the stored damage, ignoring defense. That just sounds like a lot to me. Yeah, that's going to hurt. So she's definitely I think in here, we definitely have to suffer more damage taken, so the protective capability is already there. The damage dealing capability, we're yet to see if she can just solo a team on her own once she's fully charged up. I think she can from the numbers that we have seen. Even if we scale it back by 40%, the damage is still there. So, the final verdict, um, is she going to change the meta a little bit? Yeah, I think so. Do I think she's going to break the game and make impossible to kill team? Only for the Krakens, but for the 99% of you watching this, it doesn't apply. You're not you're not the Clees, the Phils who of the world that are winning the championship. So you guys don't have to worry about it. You need a very specific team comp. Like, I mean, let's just do one last quick showcase to kind of make that point. We're going to give the enemy that. We're going to give, this. However, we're going to make one tiny change. We're going to take out the Lydia, assuming they don't have Lydia. We're going to put in like Marvel, probably, who is the next best. Or let's put in Catherine. Everybody has a Catherine, right? Catherine's going to help. She'll give consolidation, yeah. Okay, I didn't actually try this early on, but let's see if with a team like this, could we achieve what we saw earlier, where we manage to keep our team alive, get to the 6th turn, and have our kill something. So I guess, while we patiently wait here, I think this is gonna be the, oh my God, that looks awfully close. Because if this team works, I'm completely changing my verdict. Oh, that was close, eh? Maybe let's just give it a second try here and just make sure, Catherine had some stats there. Okay, let's give that one more try. Just one more try. Just one more try. I almost thought she had it. She almost had it. Um, but what we can see, right, is if Heng E can really survive till the end of the game, I do think there is great potential for her. And we'll just try one more time instead of Catherine. I'm gonna put Marvel, or we're gonna take out maybe Santa for Marvel. See, this Ben Austin is just a lot, a lot to handle. And Lydia's permanent damage reduction, Catherine, the thing with Catherine is Catherine can't keep it up, right? So let's give Marvel one last shot. And again, this is to also show that how, it's also showing how broken Lydia is. I tried many other things like, shoot. We're gonna try one last thing, lineup. But in general, right? Like, I mean, we're kind of getting the sense of what she's good for. She's good for anti Ben Austin. Most of your teams would not be able to survive an onslaught like that from the enemy. Like you put anything in there, it's not going to work. Um, but maybe something like this, right? Maybe the additional healings and the extension of the buffs, we might be able to just pull it through. Because I do believe Marvel also have consolidation, right? I think Marvel at exclusive 3 provides consolidation, yeah. Consolidation 2. So that's the thing we were looking from Catherine there. And also Marvel was heal is going to bring everybody to full HP. We're just going to make Santa just a little bit faster. My Santa's on the other side of gear. But let's battle, edit attribute, give this with. Okay, come on. Okay, last try. I mean, this also, I mean, this is our final verdict, right? I mean, if she dies again, I don't know. It almost felt like Lydia was the one that was doing all the work. I mean, she did come close, very close to killing Donald's first life, but but that's not enough, right? The fact that if she's the one that's actually getting targeted, that's what I just realized, is that if you actually target Heng E, she can't cleanse herself out of that, and she's not going to be able to get her turns. And you're still going to die. So so that kind of says it. If you're facing up against a Heng E, so which got me thinking. We have one last thing we want to try is, we're gonna switch the lineups a little bit. We're gonna be on the offense. Is gonna be on the defense. But instead of focusing on the panda here, we're gonna focus on killing He and see what happens. Because if she does get stunned, right, she's not gonna be able to deal with it herself. I think the other part of it was also the survivability from Lydia stealing the buffs. But she can't steal that part. Uh, okay, the apple's almost through. See, the additional control, right, is not letting Heng E take turns, so that also helps. We're back to beating on Heng E. The fortunate thing is the enemy Lydia doesn't do much. We're still having a very hard time killing her and trying to focus her when there is that consolidation debuff, right? So I think the main thing with Marvel and with we can't pull it off because they don't really protect the ally that effectively. And there's no way to keep her alive, to keep her alive. Okay, so Henry finally died. Yeah, it's giving me second thoughts now, right? Is she broken? I don't know. You're gonna have to be the judge of that based on, everything you saw here with the testing. She does bring a very interesting kit. I mean, I am not autoing this time around. I mean, I'm technically focusing down, the key enemy target. So, on defense, on a pure auto situation, so I mean, we still got the championship to talk about. Um, I mean, she is strong. Don't get me wrong. She's not a pushover by any means. She brings a lot to the team, increasing the survivability. Right now, we don't have the 40% damage reduction, so we can't fully mirror the real situation. She does potentially have a little bit of damage boosting capability by increasing the skill damage, but I don't know if, would you give up a Whistler for that spot? Would you give up, a Bissidin for that slot? Would you give up, Esther for that slot? So probably not. So in the speed cleave team, she's not a fit. It's really still in the tanky team that where she fits. And so, I rambled on long enough. I'll let you decide, how good she is, and we'll see in the meta. I know people are hoping for a little bit more conclusive, um, decision at the end. But unfortunately, I can't. I don't like to hype up a hero, and when when it's not warranted. I do think she is strong, but there is a new stamp, by the way, they snuck in, and this is very much for her. But it's also actually really good for your panda too, by the way. So if you target your allies during your own turn, main skill target is any ally, then they'll gain energy overload. So try this on your panda. It's gonna work just the same way. So you don't really need to get Heng E to get use of the stamp, but this is really gonna help you with your effect res for your panda to make it more, stronger. Just as well for Heng E, it's gonna benefit very well from this stamp. Just a quick plug for that in case anyone didn't notice that. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your anniversary. I'll probably still have some anniversary videos to come out. Again, I appreciate your support. Please click like, subscribe, come on, comment below if you have any questions, and good luck on getting your guaranteed Heng E with the least number of um, you know, gems you need to spend, and good luck on your miracle pulls in a couple of days. Gandalf out.